On the 2nd of May 1945, Berlin finally surrendered to the Soviet Union. The war in Europe had come to an end after 6 years. Germany was partitioned between the four main powers: France, Britain, the United States, and the Soviet Union. While World War II was over, the Cold War was beginning. On the 4th of April 1949, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Portugal, Norway, Denmark, Italy, Iceland, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands signed the North Atlantic Treaty. These members became known as NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization. After the USSR, or the Soviet Union, tried to block off Allied access to West Berlin in 1948 to 1949, the Allies were forced to airlift supplies into West Berlin, in what became called the Berlin Airlift. Eventually, the USSR was forced to remove the blockade on Berlin. Because of this event, the Allies created the state of West Germany from the British, French, and American sectors. In retaliation, the USSR created East Germany out of their sector. On the 9th of May 1955, West Germany was unable to join NATO. Once again, in retaliation, the USSR created the Warsaw Pact, which was the communist equivalent of NATO, which comprised of the USSR, Poland, Albania, Romania, East Germany, Bulgaria, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. Because of the better opportunities in West Germany, the citizens of East Germany began migrating across the border. The same occurred in East Berlin. This created a brain drain in East Germany, which contributed to a very poor economy, whereas the West German economy boomed. So as to prevent this, on the 12th of April 1961, the East German authorities closed the border and signed the order to build the wall. Starting at midnight, the communists started to close the border, and by morning the next day, it was closed. They also tore up streets across the border to prevent vehicles crossing them, and installed barbed wire and fences around the sectors that divided West and East Berlin. They built it inside the borders of East Berlin to prevent any transgression of West Berlin borders. On the 17th of August, the communists started to replace the fence with a concrete wall. NVA and KDA troops stood in front of the wall under construction, with orders to shoot anyone trying to defect. They also built minefields, barbed wire, and other obstacles to prevent defection. In addition, a vast flat area of no man's land was created, so as to make a defector easier to spot and eliminate. This wall divided families and prevented East Germans from getting to their jobs in West Germany. But it did stop the brain drain and helped boost the economy. It very much worsened the relationship between the Communist East and the Free West. John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, was furious, and in response, sent more troops to West Berlin. The Berlin Wall was more than 87 miles long and included watchtowers so that communists could spot and kill defectors easily. Limited crossing between the border was allowed, but generally, the East Germans couldn't. The wall went through 4 stages, eventually resulting in the highly sophisticated 4th generation wall, or Stufenwassenelement UL 12.11, which was finished in 1980. Many defection attempts were made, with 5,000 escaping to West Berlin, one even being dropped from a house in East Berlin by his father, before being caught by a net held by a crowd in West Berlin. His father soon followed. Estimates vary, but one source says 327 lives were lost because of the wall, including 24 East border guards. On the 7th of November 1989, the authorities drafted a new policy which would allow permanent immigration immediately. At first, they planned to have a specific crossing that would allow this, but this was later changed to allow East German citizens to exit through crossing points between East and West Germany. This included the crossings between East and West Berlin. The Stasi changed this, so it allowed temporary immigration and travel. The new draft was to take place on the 10th of November. During a confused press meeting, journalists were told that the draft applied to any border crossing. They were also told that citizens could now permanently immigrate to West Germany and West Berlin. They were told it would be put into effect immediately. After hearing this, East Berliners started gathering at the Berlin Wall. None of the East German authorities wanted to order lethal force, so the communist border guards were being overwhelmed with people demanding to be allowed to leave East Berlin. Eventually, the order was given to allow people through, with little or no checks. They crossed and were greeted by the West Germans. Demolition began as woolpackers, as they were known, started chipping away at the wall for souvenirs, creating large holes in the process. To prevent people from destroying the wall, the communists opened 10 new border crossings. The border guards tried to fix the damage, but gave up, and allowed the demolition to continue. On the 13th of June, 1990, the East German border troops began to officially demolish the wall. The destruction of the wall was completed in 1994. On the 3rd of October, 1990, East Germany was dissolved, and Germany was once again united for the first time since the end of World War II. This is aerial footage taken of the Berlin Wall. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and press the notification button to see more videos. Thank you.